So check it out. You know what it is? Today is time for another episode of the About Mansfield Consumer Advice Series. I'm your host, Steve Casillo. Right now, I know that you are doing one of three things. You're either watching this on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, or you are listening to this on your favorite podcast platform. I know that's only two, because usually it's three. But right over there is Phillip Washington Jr., and he is our financial guru. We bring him in every Friday and talk all things financial. It's Friday the 13th.
It is Friday the 13th. Yes, I love Friday the 13th.
It doesn't happen. It only happens maybe 2 or 3 times a year, and being October, the month of Halloween, with Friday the 13th, and today is actually, check this out. Today is actually the day my niece is getting married.
Oh wow, awesome!
On Friday the 13th, and she's wearing a black dress.
Is she really wearing a black dress?
Yes, she is. It's going to be
awesome.
She's an independent thinker. I love her very much. So
yeah, I like that idea. That's something that if I were a bride that I would do.
Yeah. So, anyways, shout out to Coley, and can't wait to see the black dress. We are doing your continuing series, Mind Over Money, Rewiring Your Financial Attitude. This is now series number 8. These are excuses that people come up with so that they don't take their finances to the next level.
You know what? I heard that last time, and I was like, maybe let's call them like excuses are actually like an accurate word, but I think they're more like thinking of a helpful way to say it that won't cause resistance in anybody's spirit, more like false beliefs that have been implanted in our minds, right? False beliefs that we allow to hold us back, which is an excuse. So yeah. I know I'm being technical on the words, but I feel like some people have a negative hope. They're like, I'm not making an excuse. This is just how it is.
Are you going nerd on me?
I'm just thinking through I'm trying to weave through people's belief systems and like get the information in there above the little person that goes, I'm like, this is just how it is.
Should we get to number 1?
Let's get to number 1.
I'm too afraid of change to alter my financial mindset. To me, this means, all right, I have an 8-to-5 job. I donate X amount of dollars or X percentage to my 401k, and that's it. I'm afraid to go any further than that.
Yeah, they're like, the box is comfortable. I got my box. I'm living in it. I'm good. Like, it's cool to have a house, but like my box is good, right? And it's more like a mental box.
Oh, because your box is comfortable.
Because your box is comfortable. It's what I'm used to.
It's padded.
Mm-hmm.
It's got blankets in it.
Got blankets in it. I even got, nowadays with a cell phone, you can have streaming TV.
Yeah.
It's easy, right? And by the way, like, that's cool. Here's the reality, though, of the way things work is life progresses with or without us, and to the extent that we keep pace with life, it becomes less energy to maintain our mood, right? So it's going to take, let's go back to the box analogy. Let's go to the 9-to-5 analogy, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to use a specific example of somebody working. Like if you were a developer in Silicon Valley, over the last decade, you made lots of money, right? You were like, you could demand the job you want. They had to pay you a lot of money because developing was a relative scarce job, right? And I'm talking about the technical of like knowing code and being able to code from a development standpoint, right? So
right.
You fast forward to today where artificial intelligence can basically code, right? Now it opened up the market to, let's say only 10% of people can code. Now, like 100% of people who want to code can code because the computer can take prompts and translate it into code to put it into the computer. Now, I know hardcore coders are going to be like, yeah, but you know, it's not going to be perfect. Like, I get that, but what I'm saying is like, just like you and I are not a radio station,
Right.
right?
Right.
But we're creating a podcast that's reaching people. Like the access is open, which means like there's going to be a new level of value created for those. The barrier to entry is gone, right? And so if you don't keep pace with that, like when you see all the radio people and the ESPN folks are creating podcasts, right? After they saw these podcasters making more money and getting more leverage than them, right? So the best, the cream of the crop are going to transition and they're going to maintain. But like everybody who is just a coder, right, or an example of a radio broadcast that just broadcasting and they were just getting money because they were just a part of the system, right? No, it's getting dismantled and transferring over here. And if you're not during the transfer, it's going to become harder and harder to be relevant because like who still listens to radio? I mean, sorry, Steve, I know you do. Yeah.
A little bit. So really it's don't be afraid of change or transition. That
Mm-hmm.
and it's funny because while you were recording your podcast, Wealth Building Made Simple, I was looking at because have you seen it on Facebook where people are complaining about self-checkout grocery?
Yeah, I saw a funny one on that. Go ahead.
Right. So I looked it up on our favorite AI site, and I said, name some things that have transitioned from full serve to self-serve. Gas stations, online shopping, ATMs. Remember when you had to actually go into the bank
Right.
to get money? Fast food restaurants, airports, libraries have all become self-serve.
Mm-hmm.
And grocery stores are headed that way too.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense.
So let's go to number 2. I don't want to sacrifice my current happiness for future financial security. And you know what that tells me? That someone's having too much fun.
Right. It's funny because I don't even understand that statement. I'm like, all right, you're too happy. I try to put my mind put myself in the mind of the person that says it, and I'm like, what a happy person actually says. I don't want to sacrifice my current happiness for future financial security. Like, how do we get from there to there? I think what it translates to is kind of like the one we did before. I'm comfortable, right? This makes me happy. Like it makes me happy to have a monopoly on knowledge of this way of doing business. I think that's what it really saying is, hey, like I was the smartest person in the room in this area, in this way of doing business. And so you're asking me to like become quote unquote dumb again, so I have to learn a new way, right? The kids are already ahead of me. So like they're already smarter than me and I don't want to admit that. So I'm going to stay the smartest person in the room, right? I'm going to, let me pick on somebody,
Yeah.
I'm a Walmart executive in 1999. And if you want to sell through mass distribution, you got to come through me. And Jeff Bezos said, how about this? How about we sell on the internet and then like you can just bypass those folks if you got a product you want to sell. They're not as important as they think they are.
Well, that mindset to me, I don't want to sacrifice my current happiness for future financial security, reminds me personally of when I was in my young 20s and working in radio, making a little bit of money, and spending every dollar I had on my happiness. And even the talk show host that I worked with at that time says, don't forget to pay yourself and take 10% of that paycheck and put it away for your future. And of course, I was young and dumb and I didn't do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that actually is a good point. And, I'm really on the kick of appreciating spenders, right?
Yeah.
Because the world tends to demonize spending carelessly. But if you understand that there's an infinite amount of money that you can make, you know what I mean? Like you can, like if you are on the edge of where the world is going and you're in love with the process that you're working in to make money, like it becomes really difficult if you're in that space to like outspend the money you make because like you're like in the zone, right? You're like Steph Curry in the fourth quarter of a game that matters. Like you're
Focused.
not missing. Yeah. And so like I actually look back and I appreciate the irresponsible spending times because those irresponsible spending times, like, you know, were times that like through the problems of like maybe having a shortage of money after overspending, it created like the new money I needed, right? So meaning like it was the necessary like adjustment that I needed in my focus to get me back focused on like making money. So I'm saying to say, yeah, man, you know, young people spending money carelessly is just part of the process. And I even think like this may sound weird. I am working consciously right now. Like what I'm working on right now is spending more money, quote unquote, carelessly, like with joy, without thinking about it, because that's the energy that you spend that like brings more money, right? And I know it sounds weird. I'm saying you got to balance it with staying on budget, but I just mean there's balance, right? There's sometimes we focus on too much on like the practical budget and not enough on just saying, nah, like I'm gonna spend it.
I did an impulse buy yesterday, and I can't wait till June to cash in on it. So, anyway, we got time for just I got one more, and to make this a 10-minute nugget. Real short answer. I'm too overwhelmed by the complexity of investing, which to me, I think you had mentioned last week or a couple of weeks ago, what are there? There's something like 10,000 stocks out there. And, where do I invest?
It's like being a very attractive and intelligent man like you, Steve. When you hit the market, you were like, I got the pick of any woman on the planet.
That's right.
But you said, I'm going to pick an amazing woman, a wonderful woman, a great woman, and I'm going to infuse my love into this relationship and create a beautiful marriage of two minds coming together, right? So, like, the basic answer is, like, just pick one that you love. Pick one that feels good that you love, and then build wealth from that.
I love you, Maria. There you go. So... That was direct, right to the point.
Right to the point.
And not only your answer, but my answer was
absolutely
direct to the point. If someone wanted to reach out to Phillip Washington Jr. for more information, how do they reach out to you?
Best way is wealthbuildingmadesimple.us and stonehillwealthmanagement.com.
And be sure to listen to his podcast on any platform, podcast platform, Wealth Building Made Simple.
Awesome. Right? Yeah, thanks for throwing that in there.
We do this every Friday. Phillip, have a great weekend, and let's do it again next week.
You too. Thanks, Steve.